Good morning. I'm Mark Allen with Gaber.io, and I'm here today with Randolph Rodrigues, the CEO and co-founder of Pulse Connect. Good afternoon in your case, Randolph. How you doing?
Doing fine, surviving, caffeinated, feel good.
That's good. Always good to get the caffeine in you. So,
Right.
so to start with, can you share a brief background of yourself and your work experience?
Yeah. So I graduated in 2018. Got a bachelor in economics. So I was a big, microeconomics guy. After college, I started working at the board of trade for a small trading company called Prosper Trading Academy. Cool experience. Kind of like Wolf of Wall Street, but not Wolf of Wall Street. I spent a year there, and then after that, I got recruited from a multimedia company in the UK called PhD. So it was a good experience. It was both, cold sales and warm sales, and I pretty much stayed there until 7 months. Built a good book of business, and then unfortunately, the pandemic came, so things had to change. But meanwhile, in the back and behind the scenes, my co-founder, or my best friend at the time, Michael, and I were working on our company, right? And we started this company back in 2017 when Bitcoin went all the way up to $19,000, 700, and we were trading, and we got a little bit fortunate. We got out. We didn't know how to trade, so we felt we were like pros at that time, but apparently, it just is what it is. But after we started learning more about the technology, and we realized that, hey, this is going to be the future. Like, this is the equivalent of the internet 2.0. And we figured, why not? We're going to wait, and get a job and do this, and get the white picket fence in the house. We're not going to do what we want. So we said, let's get our hands dirty. Let's learn about this technology as much as we can, and let's do something with it. So ever since then, we started working on what's now called Pulse Connect, and we are at the moment close. We are right now going for VC capital funding, and who knows? Maybe it'll be in Shark Tank, but you never know.
Well, cool. So why don't you tell us about Pulse Connect? I mean, what is it you do? Who is your target audience? All those things.
Yeah, so Pulse Connect, it identifies as an IDAS, or identity as a service platform, and we're simply making an application that will allow users to manage, organize, and share their digital content securely with others, but more importantly, give people more transparency, more privacy, and actually give people the first time the ability to own their data and do more with their data. Right. And right now, as far as, once we acquire VC funding, our targets, or we're looking at this to sell our application and our contactless tool that we're creating as well to both B2C and B2B markets. For B2B markets, we're looking at professionals that deal more or less with face-to-face communication. So your typical realtors, your lawyers, any sort of service provider or service retail providers, as well as technology marketers. And then from that, obviously, we're going on a freemium business model. So we're going to be targeting individual users based on a monthly subscription, and that's about it. So
cool. So the average person will have control of their data and how it gets used. Is that really a good way to look at it?
Basically, yes. And the cool thing with it is that we're not, obviously, our whole mission statement or motto at the company is we want to take the best from the old and merge it with the new, right? And what's going to be attached to this application, or the Pulse Connect application, it's going to be a smart contactless card that will be kind of like an one card for all card. So you'll be able to sync your payment credentials, your verifiable credentials, such as your driver licenses or any other governmental identifications. Your gift cards, you will be able to sync it with our application and be able to use it hand in hand with our Pulse smart card. So we have kind of like an all-in-one approach for both the application and both the card. But we're also going to be using our platform for the B2B as more of a sales enablement solution. So businesses with their employees will be able to let them know exactly what collateral they want to send to the prospective clients, what vibe or what marketing message they want to send out on their Facebook, on their Twitter or whatnot. Kind of like an omni-channel approach, right? And that's really what we're bringing to market first.
Cool. So that, I mean, that brings up the question to Facebook and Twitter. Are they resisting this, or you think they're going to welcome this with open arms?
I think that, I mean, right now, if we take a look at what's happening with Facebook and Twitter, I mean, there's a lot of, they're facing a lot of issues, right? They're facing censorship. They're fighting with governments. I believe Australia, they banned the country of Australia from seeing the news. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you have, on the other hand, you know, the whole situation, unfortunately, the whole military situation in Myanmar. That's happening with Facebook as well. So I think what's happening is that people are starting to wake up, and they're starting to realize that, hey, this application is free to use, but who's a product? Because who's a product? You are the product. If it's free, you're the thing. So I think people are starting to wake up, and I believe, I mean, if I were Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, I would welcome this, because the Pulse Connect application is going to have kind of like I said, an all-in-one effect. So people will be able to put on their Pulse profile, their Instagram portfolio, their Facebook portfolio, their Instagram portfolio, the digital content, right? But more or less, we're adding a layer of security where not everyone can see your collateral, right? You're not going to be getting spam messages. And I'm sure on LinkedIn, if I show you my inbox right now, it's full of spam messages, right?
Yeah. Interesting. So I too think they should welcome it, but you never know. I mean, I'm assuming you saw the what was that movie? That Netflix documentary?
Social Dilemma. Yeah.
Social Dilemma. Yeah. So I think anything that gives people more control of their identity and their information is a positive thing for, the majority of us out there.
I 100% agree. And the thing, what I love the documentary, because it broke it down it was just so simplified, like I feel every single time I talk to one of my friends and they ask me, why don't you buy an Apple Watch? And I look at them like, because I don't want to buy an Apple Watch, because I'm going to, de-identify the day and sell it. I think that the average consumer now is more dynamic. They're not as siloed. And this is something that Debbie Reynolds and myself always talk about. We always talk about how people are now at a point in time where they have a plethora of resources to use. Back in the good old days, you had to go to a library, you read books, and you saw the news, and that's about it. Now, flash forward to 2021, you have the internet. So I feel people are starting to wake up, which is a great thing. But also, one of the quotes from that movie that really stood out to me was that we moved from a tool tech-based environment where you have a tool, a bicycle, for example, and it's there, and it doesn't and it serves you, right? You use it when you want. That's what it has to do. That's what you want it to do. We moved more towards technology from that standpoint to a more manipulative, a more invasive, tech background. And that really stood out to me, because now I look at companies like Facebook. I look at health devices. I look at a Samsung smart appliances in my fridge. They're all tracking you. They're all getting data from you, and really that's one of my passions. That's what got me personally fired up, because I was like, hey, this is not fair, and that's about it. But
I agree. We could probably talk about this for hours. I agree with you. It kind of happened slowly, and all of a sudden we were here. Doesn't it seem like it?
It's I'm not sure if you saw the documentary with Edward Snowden in Netflix, but he said, I think this is one of the things that stood out to me. He said, once you flip the switch, it's not gonna return back to the way it was. And I feel right now we're at a point in time where we're close. Like people don't. And here's the thing. Here's the problem. People look at privacy, or they look at the terms and conditions. What do? They go all the way to the bottom. They check the boxes and they click continue. Right.
I agree. Yep.
what needs to happen, there needs to be something that makes privacy, that makes security fun, that makes it sexy, that makes it appealing. And that's really where where I'm trying to go in and from that angle, because if we have, well, hopefully, it goes well. I'm not sure. I'll let you know.
Mhm.
I feel that's really where the issue is, and who knows? But
Well,
yeah,
I truly wish you luck in this because it's needed. It truly is needed. I mean, Europe's got GDPR, right? And
yeah,
California's starting to pass some laws. So you see it, and I think your generation is starting to realize it because they've been brought up with computers all their life,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
the most common thing I heard from people is, well, I don't care what they see. I'm not doing anything that, right? But I think people are starting to say, you know what? I do care.
Well, here's how I see things, and I this might be a long shot, but I feel that as technology evolves, right, we have what, artificial intelligence, and we have machine learning already, being able to, or seeing you, or being in use for biometric scanning, or being able to detect exactly who that person is in less than a second, being able to drive the car, being able to do a lot of things on for you, because the average person is obviously getting lazier, and I feel, well, we're going to be going into that Wally life, the movie, we're all in bubbles and
Yeah.
stuff like that. What's happening right now is that we're essentially building our digital twin online. Every single time we like a photo, every single time that we engage with someone else, or we like a concert or whatnot, we're building ourselves digitally. And the scary nightmare situation I think about is, what if artificial intelligence gets to a point where you have your digital twin, which is you, but digitally, and you merge that with artificial intelligence. What's going to happen if the company owns your digital twin, or AKA your data? Then
Mhm.
they own a part of you, right?
Yeah.
So now it started, and this is something that Debbie and I spoke about. It starts becoming a human rights issue at that, automatically, because now the corporation owns your data, the corporation owns your digital twin, and what's going to happen?
Yeah. Well, it's already happening. So
That's insane.
let's change the subject here because we could go off on this for hours. So
Yeah,
you said you started Pulse Connect right about a year ago when COVID hit, right? So you've been a 100% remote company since day one,
yeah,
right?
100%.
And how's that going? I mean, was it hard to start a company when?
So hard to start a company. Obviously, yes. The answer is always going to be yes. When COVID happened, it was a shock. It was a shocker to me, because I always thought, I want to, um, I want to work from home, and I'm gonna, you could probably go,
Now go.
yeah, go. So when COVID happened, I always thought it would be cool working from home. You'll be at home, you'll get some snacks, you'll have the TV on and so forth. But it got distracting. I started gaining a little bit of weight. I started being distracted more, and my head started hurting more, just because I was inside the house the whole entire time. So it was definitely um, a work in process. I definitely had to adapt a bit. I mean, I had to work out from home. My gym is typically my church, or my second church, so I have to, go there and de-stress and all that. And when the lockdowns happened, I mean, it was a little bit of a challenge. But I think now, when it comes to Pulse Connect and the team, we've adapted pretty well. We communicate on Slack. We do daily briefings. We go over our objectives and so forth. And I think, as long as we have as long as we have clear communication of who's doing what, and what's objectives for the day, for the week, for the quarter, and so forth, it's fine. But what I started realizing is that communication is extremely key. You need to be open. You need to
Mhm.
let you know, hey, I'm going to do this. Hey, I got this life thing happening today. Hey, I got family issues and stuff like this. Like, I think it's allowing us to be a little bit more human. A little bit
Mhm.
more back in the good old days, where you actually have a conversation with people. But now it's kind of weird. It's like a double sided blade, where you go outside and you can't even shake a person's hand.
I know. It's weird.
It's just fist bumps and all that.
This
So
or
or like the awkward,
Yeah.
elbow. But it hasn't been easy, but it's working. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, that brings up the question, eventually things will go back to somewhat back to normal. And you've never had an office. And once you get funding, do you think you're going to have an office, or do you think you're going to stay
Oh,
on?
I absolutely. There's no question about that. I feel we need an office because it's a different vibe. You walk into the door, you sit down, you have your cup of coffee, you have your Cisco phone or whatever type of phone you're using, right? And you sit down and you do this, right? You talk, prospect clients or talk to a current client or whatnot. I think we definitely will get an office. Right now, I'm actually in Florida, so I had to move and do a couple of family things. But this, even with me moving over here, my team being in Chicago, it was still the same thing. We built good enough of a communication channel that we probably nothing's going to change. I feel it probably motivated us even more because now I have a whole new territory to attack. I have goals. They got the Midwest. It's time to do divide and conquer. But
And do you foresee that you'll move back to Chicago?
yeah, so I'm going to be definitely going back and forth. If there's any important meetings with clients, or let's say a gigantic client or something like that, something of that nature, then obviously I'll be back and forth. But plane tickets are not that expensive. One way is like $75.
Yeah.
So I'll be back.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. And I noticed that you happened to go to Florida during the winter. Is that a coincidence?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. I've been to Chicago in the winter. It can be a little cold.
Oh, it's great. What are you talking about? It's like 6 degrees in Chicago. Come on.
Yeah.
During the winter.
Wait till you get to be my age. It's a little bit harder on you. So, well, Randolph, it's been great talking to you. I really do. I love what you're doing. I do truly hope you're successful. It needs to be done. Someone's going to do it. I hope it's you, right? I think we agree on it. It has to be done.
It needs to be done. It needs to be packaged in a nice bow tie and be simple enough for people to use it. And I think that's key. I think that's the way to do it.
Yep.
Sometimes it feels like people are in, sometimes it feels like I'm so deep in that I start talking blockchain and BLT and non-fungible tokens, and people are like, "Are you okay?"
Okay.
I'm like, yeah. But only time will tell. I think one of my favorite sayings is "We'll see." So I think
we will see. Yes. Well, thank you again, and have a great day.
No, take it easy.